Well, it's Grumpy Dave's garage time. Other than the flat tire right there, which I can't air up, it's got a hole in it. It just blew out. She's sitting level. It's impressive. Recuperating from the rain we weren't supposed to have yesterday that we got. There's your steering rod in place, missing everything. Here's your oil pan sitting a 1/4 inch off of the rack. A little tight, but hey, it's not rubbing. Getting her in there was good. I still have to articulate the transmission mount over a smidge. Interesting. We'll worry about the water pump. This fitting can change. We'll do a fitting with the radiator later today. I got the old one here. The new one is the MGB GT V8 radiator. So I got a funny feeling old David's gonna have to come in here, trim this lip, set the radiator down in there. Everything's close. It's gonna have to have 2 pusher fans. Because I'm not going to cut this whole piece out. I'm just going to notch it back 1 inch because there's no reason it's going to interfere with the hood latch, and that just creates another problem. So I'll use 2 pushers. I got to put the starter on. It couldn't be on here during the drop-in. So it's designed to flip up in there and rotate and bolt up. I gotta tighten up the motor mounts on both sides. Center the transmission mount, put the bolt in it. Okay. And then I gotta change the oil filter, which was the fail item for the day. I crushed it like a pop can. It's full of oil. It kind of got, see if I can get a picture of it. Oh, it's right down here. There you go. It kind of got caught on the motor mount bracket. And I didn't see it when I pushed on the engine, and it just, lucky it didn't bust open and have oil everywhere. I had to clean it up, be rolling around in oil dry while I was trying to do this. It kept raining on me. It would start to rain, I'd cover the car up. I'd go in the garage and I'd start cleaning tools and stuff up and working on the mess I got in there. And I look at it and it quit raining. So we wait a little bit, we put the cover back, we start working. 20 minutes later, it rained again. Same process. About the 3rd time, I just folded it up, pulled the door down, went in the house. Then it rained 2 more times. Little brief rain showers, just enough to put the kibosh on my program. Here's the body ground. Your sensors. I want to re-drill and lower these about 1 inch. I don't have to lower them that much, but I just want to because I can. Could be an interesting fit. I could put this bolt in this hole and lower the whole. I just don't want them hanging over the headers. Bad combination. The engine is in. That's what we've done, people. Along with all the other clearances, this baby comes up and it misses the, not by much, right there, it misses the front pulley, the harmonic balancer. We do have an issue with the manifold, which I knew was coming. Let's just do it this way. Use this for a center line. Once upon a time. I need to get some music in the background here. Something I'm allowed to put on here, because I'm not used to being in a totally quiet shop. I usually have a little ZZ Top or some of that easy listening music going on. That's the top of the 7 inches. That's the top of the plenum that I'm using. It may or may not have to have a hood bubble or a scoop or whatever. Because if we come to the rear, let's go here. 7's at the bottom. So the bottom's not the it's up here. And I haven't taken the hood down and done all the fancy curve measurements. That's going to hit. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not going to worry about it. If I had an MGC hood, it's got the little pop-up, it would probably fit perfect. But it's a low-budget build. I'm not paying $800 for the only one I could find. I'll think of something. I'm in the mechanical part of the build right now. Everybody builds them their own way. Some guys just start on, they do the frame, and then they do the engine, and then they do the rear end, and then they do the body work, and then they do the welding. And if I did that, I would go crazy. Because as soon as I hit a fail item, or I'm ready to throw a hammer at it, I simply quit working on it and work on something else. That's the reason my shop looks like this. Body stuff laying out, cut metalworking stuff laying out, transmission fluid, my nuts and bolts and stuff I got to put away, parts for stuff I didn't use, the specialty bolts to put LS engines on my engine stand. Here's my header gaskets. Well, you get the picture. Here's some, I'm not even sure what this is. Oh, it's my self-tapping drill bits and stuff, which they've been really helpful in this project. And over here I got the old stuff I took off, the new stuff I bought that couldn't be worked on. That's like this oil tube. I really need that thing sticking up on the engine. I got the short one coming. So I'm going to take everything for the, it's not going back on the car, or it may go back on the LS, in the LS tote down there. Paint goes to the paint. I got bolts for everything. I think my starter's in that box there. I'm pretty sure I put it in there. So the next day I decided to work on the car. I'm going under it. Here, I got another part right here. Here's my bellows, or your boots for your front end. That bag right there is my tie rod ends. I just don't have room for it. I keep them together. Because after I do the underneath finishing up the bolting up, I'm going to come to the front end, drop the cross member out, get it cleaned and painted and ready. It'll be out of my way. Do the tie rod ends with the new boots, then come back in and put the sway bar back in, and then basically cover up the front of this and not open it up again. I will be getting ready to do the, oh, let me see that. Look, let me sit out here and get a good view of this. You got the engine sitting over to the driver's side, looking back at it, just a smidge. The motor, I didn't bolt the transmission mount in. That was my mistake. I'll have to fix that when I bolt it up. I have to make sure it's dead on, and then we'll just do all the bolt ups and the finish up. Change the oil filter out. It's crushed like a pop can screwed on there. Surprised me it's not even leaking. Then I'm gonna come out here, pull this sway bar down, get it cleaned up, and then jack it up, pull the front tires off, and do the tie rod ends. While it's out, up on the shelf, I have new carter key or brake pins, retaining clips, and pads to drop in these calipers. They just drop in. They're slotted to go in. And then once the headers are done, and that's my project coming up, is making all these parts for the headers. Get them all spot welded up, fabricated up. We'll put in the wheel adapters. Put on a pair of the rally wheels, the new 15x7s, and bolt the fenders on. I want it basically done from the firewall forward, okay? Then I want to move it into the garage. I'm tired of dealing with the sun and rainstorms, but I needed all the room I did have to build components, so I'll get this all reorganized, put everything away, and then I'm going to bring Britt back in here. That table will be sitting out of the way back here that I made, so I can get around the engine compartment and work, or body work, and then with the back end sitting this way, we're going to set her up like we had her outside, locked up nice and high and stable. And I'm going to probably have it, I don't have it sitting on the ground. Anyway, I want it up high enough so I can get under it comfortably and pull everything out underneath the back of the car here on camera. We got a lot of fabricating to do. And while I'm doing the fabricating, the body work is going to come down. It's time to make up some pleasures, some fun. Right now, you can see my arm. This girl has more sharp edges and stuff on her. She just beats me up every time I start working on her. I don't know. I just bleed every time I get near her. Everything is spot on. This front suspension is really impressive. I wish I'd had air in this one tire. I don't know if I got another one around behind the garage that will hold air or not. but it's not going to make any difference. It's coming off shortly. But she's sitting level. Those springs from Abington Spares, when I talked to them, they hooked me up with the right number and I ordered them. Just leveled up, and that was all it did. That is a win in itself. I was afraid it was going to be a little nose heavy because that's a cast iron block. She's sitting level. She's got a nice spring to her. I pushed down on it, you know, did the old bounce trick on it. I don't know what else to show you, people. I'm going to start building in the garage here in a second. I got to start cleaning, organizing, and I got some parts to go on this engine yet. I can put the tensioner back on it. Later I can work on the alternator bracket. I'm cutting off the bottom of it for the power steering pump. Get it cleaned up, painted, and put on. And I got a couple other parts laying on it. I just putting stuff back on the car. It's laying everywhere. And I'll just finish up this section of it, and then we're going to move to the rear. So while I'm fabricating, working, welding, cutting, and doing that kind of work to get the 410 rear end up in there, I'm also going to be running the body work. Looks good. Looks good. I don't know. I guess I would have to measure back and across this hood and get the rise for right there to find out whether she's going to fit or not. I just don't want to get anything down. You can see the mess I got right now to clean up, which I'm going to be doing off camera here today. I don't think you need to watch me clean the garage. She's in. My replacement shoulder got a good workout. You did a good job. Surprised. It hurts and aches. I don't think on the approved list of things to do with under a year from the surgery that swinging engines in cars was on the list. These coil packs aren't going to touch the hood. I wouldn't really have to lower them. It's the front corner, the very front right here. We'll see. I got my Chihuahua here. You can tell she's got white hair all over me. She had to give Daddy huggies before I went out to the garage because the ground was wet. She ran back in the house. She didn't want to get all wet. Well, people, like, subscribe, get your build on. Don't let anybody tell you no, or you can't do something. Right there's a result of what people told me I couldn't do or you couldn't do. You have to use this 5-speed or 6-speed transmission. You have to use this kit. You have to use this. You can't use that. You don't know what you're doing. What can I say, people? You're looking at it. It took 53 days to get it to this point, so the transmission could be accepted by the body of the car, and the engine literally clears by, when I articulate this transmission in line, it'll pick up some space. Steering rod, all the fail items normally. Sitting behind the rack with a slight adjustment. Now this is the truck setup. Everybody says you can't, you got to change all this stuff. I'm gonna prove to you don't. If I can't, it'll be a fail item and I'll just say, hey, I lost it. So far I haven't missed a stroke yet.